Hi ladies, welcome to day 8. I'm sorry I'm a couple of hours late. Probably to lose it's already too late, you in bed. I'm hoping you can catch it tomorrow morning. But it's important that I kind of keep on a daily basis to give you some cool updates. But it's beautiful here in Seattle. It's 31 degrees and super hot. I am struggling with the heat. I don't know why, but it is hot, so keeping busy and keeping cool. So before we close the week for nutrition, and if you didn't have the chance to look at all the presentations that I've posted, I know it's a lot of information. Maybe it's too much, and for some people, it's time limiting as well. So I want to summarize for you before we move on to the next topic, the 5 key points for me. And if you can stick to them, I think that will give you the most benefit that you can have. So point number 1 is to keep in your memory that if you want to maintain your weight, you need to only can take in as many calories as you're burning. So you either burn more if you've been eating more, or you may make sure that you maintain a level of the calories, and that's really the basis really to maintain your weight. Obviously, if you want to lose weight, you either need to take in less calories or add an additional exercise to burning that gap. And you should be only reducing the amount of calories by about 300 calories a day to really have a stable reduction of your weight, and it's something you can maintain. If you burn more than 300 calories per day, and from what you should be having and what you want to go as a target, your body will swap or will switch, and it will think that you're going in some kind of mode where there will be no more food available, and will convert any calorie into fat. So you don't want to do that. So you need to only really reduce it slowly and making sure you eat enough. Then point number 2, use medium intensity exercises, low and medium intensity exercises. These are the best ones for burning the fats that you want to get rid of. If you want to build on your stamina, then you can go into high intensity, but the high intensity will only focusing on the carbs. So to burn the fats, you need to make it medium intensity. And this is usually when you're running and you can still talk to someone you're running with, or you're not totally out of breath. If you notice that you are doing that, you are moving into the more stamina building exercise, which for some people want as a target as well. Point number 3, fat versus muscle. So just to remind you, the volume of fat and the volume of muscle mass is different. So it's the same weight, but a different volume. So even if you're not losing weight, your body might change because you're building muscle and you're reducing the fat. Also, fat doesn't use as many calories as the fat. So when your body is resting and so on, your body is anyway using calories. And so that's different. Muscle actually uses more. So do exercises that are working on your burning fat, so calories, running and so on, or fast moving, walking and so on, but also the exercises that are building muscle. More muscle mass you have, better it is, more calories you will burn. Use 80-20 ratio. So as long as you're doing 80% of your time the best you can, it's okay for 20% of your time to have some cake, to relax, to have some wine, to enjoy your life. Okay, it's not all about just being strict, because if you go 100%, you're gonna get tired and you're just gonna go into the slump where you just do nothing and don't want to do anything. So there needs to be a balance. And then the last point for me is number 5 is really important, that you involve your family and friends, to exercise, to do certain things, to move, to go outside, and whatever you can do, because if you're doing it by yourself, it's much harder than when you're doing it with your friends or family. So integrate that in your lifestyle. That really helps. So these are points, 5 points that I wanted to mention. And then I'd like to move over to the stress management, and we will start on that with values, and why I want to talk about the values. I want to give you a bit of, some of insight of my private life, really, and you might understand why. So at some point, me and Jamie, we struggled quite a bit in our marriage, and I think the point was really there because we didn't align on our values. So what we did is we actually went for some counseling, and I think it was really, really helpful, and really made me to understand, okay, why we're having sometimes such a big disagreement. And this was the situation when we had Nicholas. He was quite small. I went back to work. It was stressful at work, stressful at home. So we had limited time for ourselves, limited time to go to the gym, look after ourselves, but also after Nicholas. And obviously I think all of these kind of things in your life, they just come and you just struggling and trying to find the balance, you know. And I think a lot of people probably been through the same thing. So we did go for some counseling, and I had this amazing guy who helped us a lot with that, and he really made me think and understand, okay, what is the importance, you know. And he explained to me that there are values, and every person has a number of values, usually about 8 to 10 values, and these values can be either very specific for a certain situation, so you can apply the same strategy for everything, or more generic with your life. And he said, you know, there's some values such as family, friends, job, career, your self-image, your well-being, your fitness, you know, how you want to look. Is it important for you to be certain way you look and fit and so on and so on. It could be religion, it could be friends, it could be all kind of different things. And also, you know, being helpful to friends and being, you know, more closer to the family and things like that. So and what we understood, you know, you really asked me and Jamie to look into ourselves and to understand what are our key values. And funny enough, what we realized is first that we have certain values that are important for us, and we need to honor them, and I'll go in detail on that. And then that me and Jamie had a different set of values. So taking example of a family, it's not that my family for me is not important, but I'm really kind of person keeps a distance with the family, and I don't need to call my parents every day. And my son and my husband are important to me, but you know, I'm quite okay to call once in a while and so on. Where for him it's really important, and he calls every day and he wants to have that much closer relationship. So we understood that our values were not aligning. And so we had some disagreement on these values, where for me or for him was something very important, and for me not as much, or different way. And then we kept having arguments because of that. And then we also had some values which were the same, you know, the way we want to look, we want to be fit, we want to, you know, he wants to have muscle, wants to go to the gym. I like to be fit and stay as healthy as I can, and my dancing and so on. And then so we had that value, but we couldn't meet it both ways. We just hadn't had the time to really allocate enough time to do that. So once you kind of understand what are your key values, it's then, and I also done a little picture for you. So what a good exercise to do is that you do a circle. You think about your values, you do circle with different grades. So you do, I'm sorry, my circle is not really circle, but you know, I did it quickly by hand. You have different levels. So you can go from center 1 up to level, usually up to 10, or you can do it up to 5 as you prefer. Then you cross the lines, and usually you have a certain number of values, which is, I just written random values, you know, friends, fitness, family, job, recognition, religion, self-image, and so on. And then once you set your values around and you thought about it, you then think, as of today, how do you value your values? Because if you can, how do you honor your values? So more you honor your values, let's say for you a value is really important, a job or career, and it has to be an 8 or a 9. And if you cannot honor today, and you only honor 7 or a 3, then this is what makes you unhappy. So you need to think about the first values that are key for you, and then you need to assess each of these values and think today, you know, where are you meeting it, and are you satisfied with that? So, you know, I don't know, as an example, I would think about a career or a job, and I would say, okay, today in the job I am not really happy, my boss is not, I'm not doing the right job that I want to do, or I want to invest more time into my job, but I just don't have time. And if you realize that you are lower, as an example here or here, on that value where you want to be, this is when it makes you unhappy. Yeah? So then once you've set that circle and you understand which are your key values and where you are, then you need to think, okay, what can I do to honor those values? What actions can I put in place to get to this target, the green target, where I will be happy? Because only when you meet those values and they are in your life present, and you're doing and you're happy with that, this is when you're going to be happy as well. So for me, an example was, for example, I was, and the values can also change. For me, it was important really career, driving my career, doing my dancing, being fit and so on and so on. And I realized by doing that a lot, I kind of had difficulties with other values. So the other values that for Jamie were really important. You wanted me to be more present, travel less, spend more time with the family. So once you kind of understand and create a lot of conflict, once you kind of understand, you start to work through this, and you understand thinking, putting actions in place that will give you that right balance. You maybe adjust also the expectation on your values. Maybe shouldn't be a 9 but just an 8, but then you increase somewhere else on the other side, and then you get that balance right. And so today, for example, when we relocated, it's something that I spend more time with family. I have more time at home. I can spend more time with Nicholas, and I see that this is relieving the pressure, the stress, and then it meets maybe my partner's values and also meets mine, and we get it in a balance. But before you work on anyone else's values, obviously, first is really to do it for you, just to understand. If you already understand what is for you the key and how you can meet it, it's already half a job done, and you will be already much happier, and as you're happy, everyone else will be too. So homework for today is to think, either take an example within your job or one specific area, or just think for yourself, is to set those values, and then try to assess them. Are you honoring them today or not? And maybe take someone as well to discuss. You can discuss with your partner, with a friend or someone else, and talk through that, because when you talk through that, you also kind of reflect on it, and you say, I'm here or I'm there. Okay? And then tomorrow we will move on from that, from that exercise. Okay, enjoy, and I'll speak to you tomorrow and continue with the program, yeah? Bye.